understood already? So you wanna continue to talk about the things that we were talking before, or that's it, we finish with this? I know I wanna finish with those messages that we talked, to talk about amazing things, good, about the gifts of God. But unfortunately, or the opposite, for good, I don't wanna pass things that I wanna say, but it's the things that God. And His message is more important than what I wanna tell you. So my message will not be so simple today, but this is kind of the continuation. But before we're gonna talk about the message, I wanna tell you one story, short story. One rightful person called to his students one day, and he put them a board, and he said, "Look at the board." All the students looked at the board, and he wrote there on the board number one. He said the number one is the symbol of first person, humanity. So imagine, he started to talk, to put next to this one more zero. Your talent, he said, they're fooling you as a person, and they're making you 10 times better. Then he add 1 0 more, and then he said, all your successful things, it's 100 more to you doing things that you are, and 1 more 0 he adding, and he said, all the things you are succeeding to get in your life, it's making you even 1,000 times more better. Or your things that you are, one more thing, and he add 0 and 0 until it came to million, 6 zeros and 1. And then he said, what do you see here? They said million. And then he said to them, a person can get million things that he can get in his life, and then he is going back and looking at the board, and in raising the number 1. What you see now? And they said, we just see zeros. There is nothing. And he said, so imagine, remember, for all your life, if to take your humanity, all your successful talents, gifts, it's 0. You understood the story? Praise the Lord. So before that we are running to get something, to invent, with our talent, with our gifts from God, we don't need to forget. We cannot forget that first of all, any situation, we need to be human. We need to hold our humanity. And many, as I said, there are people who are too much doing, believers that forgetting that they are humans, and then starting to be too many zeros. But when there is not a 1 in the front of all the zeros, when you are not going back that you are human, you are just losing everything. So we need to check, maybe to see ourselves with different eyes, because God sees us as human. He is creating us as this. But we want to be superheroes sometimes. It's not bad to be superhero. But now, more important in this time is not to be superhero, but to be human. Because so many people out there are not having any more love, and there is so much aggressive, and someone needs to stay human. And first of all, as a Christians, as believers, we need to stay human, because a person was created that he has a soul that can love, can hug. But when we're losing this humanity, we're losing those things of love. And now, I will say to you the name of the message that I know you will not like. I called this message in really weird name and not so nice. What Hamas teached us. No usual, right? Weird. But we need to understand that the same As we say that nothing in our life happening for no reason. God checked and see everything. He showed us a lesson. We're saying even though one person came to our life by mistake, some good guy or a bad guy on our way in the life, we're saying that this person came, maybe forgive us some lesson, and there is other people that may be good or bad. Good people came to give us as a gift, to pass with us some hard times in the life. But the fact that those people doesn't need to stay maybe in the life. There is seasons also of people in our life. Even if some person in your life were good for you, but this was season of relationship that you needed to take for you and to go ahead. And the same also some situation in our life, in the world, in the history, in our nation, nothing is happening for no reason. And we can look at everything with aggressive eyes, why it happened, it doesn't need to be. Or we can say we need, even with the worst situation that happened here in Israel on 7th of October, we can also take some lesson. And I will talk today about what's happening today in Israel, what's happening in our nation. And you know, the lesson number one that I understood is that came time of unusual, united time in Israel, in the nation. If not all this war or all this hard situation that happened, remember what situation Israel was before the war. It was political debates, mess in the government, mess inside the people, the nation were mess. Remember how in Tel Aviv they were burning with demonstration day and night without stop. Israel was about a civil war, like a mess inside the nation, and suddenly coming something that we are not ready, never thought it's going to happen, the 7th of October 23, and suddenly something weird, crazy mess happening in the country, and everyone just uniting. Everyone forgot who is right, who is left, who is Bedouin, who is Druze, who is whoever. Everyone united and going to serve and to serve each other and the country. I never saw something like this in Israel. But more than this, something more happened, that something before never been. It's that Arabs that living in Israel started to help each other and also united with the Jewish. It happened also things that I saw organization that they are built right now in the time of the war, in the north and in the south, working together, Arabs and Jewish, that's helping to those people who are moved from the houses to the army, giving them food to the army base, and all those things. The first thing that happened is together, and this lesson actually gave us Hamas. You know, sometimes the enemy is sent for us to get a lesson. Because how many times God wanted to scream on Israel? Remember the prophets. Remember the judges. I really like to read the judge book in the Bible. If you will read it, you will see what happened. Someone of God came to the government. For example, 6 years he was organizing. All the Israels were serving just God. The judge was on top. Everything was amazing. But at the moment, And then he died, this or that judge. And the next chapter, starting from what? And Israel started to do mess and to worship idols. And again, the same in circle. If you will see the judgment book, it's kind of a wheel that's moving on the same place. The same. One judgment or someone in the government or in the kingness of Israel came of God. And it was amazing and everything was halted. But at the moment he died, or the king or the judge, right away Israel lost himself. And this is interesting that even then we will see that they started to fight with Israel and it started to be a war with Palestinian, or it was always wars in this time of Israel week. Jesus said, if the kingness will not be united, when inside the nation there is hate, there is no agreement, it's one big worst thing that can happen. And unfortunately, not just to our nation, it's happened to many other nations. And they understood just the tongue of the war, of danger. It's the same like kids. You say, don't put your hands to the electricity until you're gonna hit him so bad and you're gonna feel bad. He's still gonna try, right? To put his fingers in the electricity. And the same nations they're like kids of God. Because when God tried to make the nation to be united together, the nation started to be more and more hate. So the 7th of October, I know that we will remember, not just to us, but to all the world. It will stay as the second Holocaust day for us, as a memory for Israel. But we will remember in our hearts. I believe that also those who will be after us. But the 7th of October is the day when lesson came to us. And especially through the enemy. Because when the nation is not looking at God and he doesn't want to listen to them government or to them prophets and starting to be separate, the enemy is coming and hitting so bad when nothing is standing, but just for the nation to be united again, to fight and to win together. It's really sick lesson. It's really bitter lesson. But if we will see on that the devil used it with Hamas, but we can take a lesson from this. I believe that the united that we got with this war, the Jewish nation will be separate. Because this lesson we took so bad, and we will remember for this story. Because God wanna see His kids united. He wanna see that on this land, it's not gonna be just army. It will be nation united. All the world is shaking when they're talking about Jewish. There's so little amount of people. They can win just thankful that they are so united. Because when the nation are separate, that everyone hates each other or not covering each other is the worst. And we know the nations, when everyone is one for himself, no one will sacrifice nothing for no one else, not for his brother, not for the country. But here there is one big pain that united all of us as a nation, or as Jewish, but also other nations. I'm surprised that came some shaking of love, because those, even if we are living here with mixed Druze, Bedouin, it's the same Arabs but a little bit different from each other, we always had we were proud on them. But when today we see that those people put the form of the army and standing on the border to serve for us, the same like every Jewish, now we got a big wave of love to other nations and Jewish people, and I'm saying this all the time openly, the Jewish people need to learn to love other nations. And this was a big lesson for us to learn, to love not just ourselves, because how Jesus said, what is special when you're doing? Those who love you, you will love them. It's not special because but to love those who never contact with us, those who have different mentality, those who have different understanding, different grow of way or view of life, to love those others different from us. This is the big thing. And I'm counting that all this mess and all this pain that we have, that we pass through, God wanted to bring us to Israel, to our nation, a big lesson. And I think it's worked. But this united that right now we have, I believe it's gonna go ahead and ahead for years and years, because it's something that finally let us understand that we are not separate, we are not even from political reasons or other reasons. We cannot separate. And this is why United of the Nation is the first that gave us the lesson of the situation. And this, all the world see, how we are as people, the Israelis. We are, it means everyone who living on the territory of Israel, the ones who have citizens and living here and sharing the same pain. And you know, it's interesting for me always when people starting to be mad and say this and that. You know, I'm always saying, when there is one bomb running to Israel and those who throwing them, Hezbollah, Hamas, whoever, I'm telling you, he doesn't care what nationality you are. On the territory of Israel, there is 2 million Arabs. You think that they care where this bomb will fall? Because all the cities, we are living together. They doesn't care. Because here, it's understanding that we thinking we are different, but for them we are all Israelis. And when the bomb fell into Israel, they said, we hitting on Israel. Whoever is there, we don't know. They doesn't care. So when we are saying about Israel, we need to understand that this is our united enemy. It's not just the enemy of the Jewish. It's our mutual enemy. And this lesson, if we will take it to us, and we will understand that we still need to hold this united situation that we have with so pain, we will start to bring it to ears, to hold it and to keep it. Second lesson that Hamas gave us, teach us. This is already a little bit more pain subject. Hamas teach us a very important lesson, not to trust no one, just God. Because what happened on the 7th of October, it's something that never happened in Israel. They plan it for years. If they will put me on the jail, talk for me, say that they plan it for years operation to open the Third World War. On 2012 year, the new order war that I talked with you about, that the Antichrist is coming, it was the plan. The new order of the world offer to the elite people to do this step, you know? Israel is so ready to rockets that they bomb us. We're living on this. It's not even bothering us. We don't care. nothing. And it's not enough for to open war, for just to throw on us rockets. It's not enough. On this time, it's needed to be something that is serious, that is a lot more heavy, that on this all the world pay attention. It's needed to be something crazy, like unbelievable, that all the world will come and see the radical thing, and then everyone will have the reason to react for the Third World War to come. So if someone naive thinks that the 7th of October it was not planned and that our government didn't sold us here, so I will tell you openly and I will tell you online and here, you need to know the truth. And this is the truth. The truth is that we don't need to trust on the government that we have, those political people, because this, no, what that they didn't know. I will tell you more than this. Some people here, some people who serving, other people who served. And as I'm telling you that the best thing of our Mossad, our Shabak and all those groups, our army is one of the best in the world, counting. Imagine that to our border, for many, many years, I was serving on Lebanon border. No one, not even one cat, mouse, nothing can come close to the border, because right away, the soldier appearing there that can't find even one mouse. That's why the light turn on. Imagine that with all the technology that we have today, all the amount of our using things that we're using in the army. In a simple Saturday morning, on the territory of Israel, coming on jeep, terrorists with arms, and no one pay attention to this. 6 hours and a half, they are driving, running, killing, taking hostages. No police, no one, no army. Naive nation, out of all the mess and pain, we didn't have time enough. We were too much crazy to think about that someone sold us here. We were even scared to think that something like this can happen with the agreement of our government. But I want to tell you that right there in the agreement of our government happened. This is why 6 hours no one saw. They cut people, they killed, they raped, and took the hostages. I said, this subject will not be so fun and no message, no for us, no for them, but people need to see the truth. And God wants for us to know the truth. That the government that we are trust, the political people that's standing on the head, and many of us even vote for them. There is no, today, I'm telling you, on all of this standing the Antichrist government, controlling people in the Knesset. It's people that connect to them. And those decisions that they're going to take in the future will shake the world more than even now, more than it shakes us and the world. But there is nothing new under the sun. You know what? There are stories like this in the Bible. Because happened a story like this, where one brother, big brother, already sold. They gave him a contract and he sold his brother to death. Let's open Genesis 37, 17. We all remember Joseph, right? The story of Joseph. And God showed me some parallel story to what happened to us on the 7th of October. Actually happened already in the Bible. Let's read. They have moved from here. The men answer. One moment. Before people doing something, they're thinking, right? And those were the brothers of Joseph. Your brother is checking you. The big brother will take decision on your life if you will be kidnapped, if you will be dead or whatever. Here, the Joseph, the little brother, the big brothers took decision on his life, and they already want to kill him. But they saw him on the distance, and before reaching them, they plotted to kill him. Here comes that dreamer, they said to each other. Come now, let's kill him and throw him into those citizens, and say that first animal divorced him. Then we will see him what comes out of his dreams. You know, on the 7th of October, they knew that many lives will go away, but they took decision. Someone will die, but someone will just be kidnapped. The same what Reuben said. Let's not kill him. Let's leave him. Let's sell him to the Egyptian. Don't kill him. Reuben said, "This is rescuing from the. Let's rescue him from there." When Joseph came back to his brothers, they stripped him on the robe, and orange robe he was wearing, and they took him and threw him into the cistern. The cistern was empty. There was no water in it. As they sat down to eat their meal, they looked up and saw a caravan of Ishmaelites coming from Gilead. Their camels were loaded with spices, balm and myrrh, and they were on their way to take down to Egypt. Judah said to his brother, "What will we again? We'll kill our brother and cover up his blood. Come, let's sell him to the Ishmaelites and not lay our hands on him. After all, here his brother sold him." And they took him to Egypt, the Ishmaelites. So I will stop here and let's see how interesting. When Joseph came and they took his clothes from him, you know, the clothes always symbolize it. The call of Joseph, the lines on the thing that the father of him gave him, something unique that no one else had. The brothers were jealous. And this is what happened in the 7th of October. The enemy tried to take the clothes of the Israeli, the nation of God, to put down the label, to step, to take the cloth. It was like a symbolic to throw him to the hole. And here we will see it really good. They took his clothes, colorful clothes from him. They threw into the robe. And they started to eat. After they throw their brother, at the moment when on our land were the blood of the kids, and some other people they took to Gaza, the big brother sat and ate bread. Your government, your political people, the people who sold you for money. I'm telling about you as Israel. And they sat and ate until 6 hours. And here we will see it. And the disaster started. No one came to help, no one came to serve. No one entered. No one entered. They called to the police. They called to the army because the brothers were sitting and eating bread. You know why I'm telling you this? We are starting to take away the glasses of pink color from the eyes. Without that, we can trust our army, we can trust our political, we can trust our government. Nothing can happen. But here today, God showing us how deep and lost, how we are lost in our mind, that we didn't have nothing because the Satan, the enemy, is standing on top of us. You cannot trust anymore the servers of Antichrist. What they gonna do for you something good? It's not anymore like this. It's like the cheese to the mouse. It's a trap. It's gonna be a price to this. In one side, they're gonna give you some good help, some money maybe, some good offer, but it's gonna time that they're gonna take back even the price that they gave you. So you know what Hamas teaches? That our government we will not trust. Politicals who are standing in our countries, the only government, it's just God. He is the one we can trust. That's it. Because this situation showed us till the end that we have people who are selling us on top of us from your nation, your brothers, people who were ready to sell kids as hostages to get some good money, because each war is money. Remember, every war is a lot of money. It's milliards. Who doesn't understand this? Understand this already. This is game of money. So what that we're gonna lose 1,400 people? So what? Some people, some new renting place in Israel will be empty again. No, someone even stranger will sell you. Everyone paying attention, just conflict between Israel and Arabs, because it was a game for the government for us to focus on something else. How we're gonna take the hostages? We're praying, we're standing, but we forgot who standing behind all this. Who made all this Hamas? And who with Hamas playing on Czech? Here to Joseph, it was no strangers. It was his own brothers. They were ready to kill him. If Judah or Reuben was not saying another idea, what do we need his blood? Okay, we'll die. But money we can make 20 silvers. It's a lot of money. Our government also said, let's not kill so many. Take some hostages. It's worth. It's gonna be more money. So when there is a situation for money, you're gonna sell your own mother. So those politics that gonna stand until the 30th year, I'm telling you as a prophecy, doesn't matter what country, it will be the servers of the Antichrist. We talked about this, about the empire of the Antichrist. We keep going. Let's sell into the Ismailites, and our hands will be clean from blood. He is our brother. And when those people came, they took Joseph from the hall. They sold him for 20 silvers, and they took him to Egypt. Reuven came to the cave, and he's not there anymore. He cut his clothes, and he said to his brothers, "Where is Joseph? Where I am going?" They took the Joseph cloth, they killed a lamb, and they put the blood on top of the cloth, and they brought it back to the father. They said to the father, "We saw this outside. This is of your son." And he said, "Yes, it's my son. Someone wild animal killed Joseph." And Jacob was so sad and cried on the floor, on the ground for many years. Who is Jacob? Israel. They sent to us, clothed with blood of our kids. Israel, we are as a country, as Jewish nation, entered. We knew that this is our blood, our kids. And we, crying on our son many days, as Jacob did. But Jacob didn't know that his son, no one wild animal killed him, but it was brothers who sold him. And this is what I'm saying, that we need to understand that behind all this is not just someone, it's not Hamas. Hamas was just the lesson or the arm to do it, to hit us, but it came from inside, from Israel government. Because without them agreement, without them accepting, nothing like this would happen. Never. And we understand that we are like Jacob, that crying for our sons, that see the colorful clothes, and we see the blood, and we are waiting for our hostages. We are worried, we are crying, we are sad. But we need, as people of spirit, as sons and daughters of King, we need to understand that not even one person, coarse person who trusts person, it says like this, right? With too much we're trust. We're too much trusted. We're too much we're blind. But God wants us to know the truth. Jacob knew the truth after many years that his sons sold his son. They lied to him. How many years passed? And I know that the people of Israel will understand this someday. But now it's too much. Everyone focusing on the trauma of the horrible that happened on the 7th of October. It's gonna take a time. It's maybe years for somehow to come back, for this pain to go away, at least from the heart. But we need to understand just one thing, that we are taught that now completely different things, and even the government, the elite that's standing on top of our countries many years ago is now belong to himself. Already in the new order of the world, controlling everything in the world. And it's not just Israel, it's in other countries. And you will see this burn completely of the Third World War. When people will stand on people, you will understand that there also people will not trust no one anymore, because their own politicals will sell them, kill them, and do money on this. And this is the second lesson that Hamas gave us. But actually, if we will see deep, Hamas is just the little piece of big devil game of Antichrist government. And if we will not see the full picture, we will live with beautiful pink glasses, that we're gonna think that everyone gonna secure us, no one will sell us for nothing. We have army, we have police. I will tell you one thing, what I understand, that soon people will be afraid from the police more than Arabs outside, because it's gonna be people who will take part in the mess, and it's gonna be worse than everyone else. It's gonna be the most dangerous people who have the form clothes of the government, and the police will be part of this, that doesn't matter what, on what law they can put you in jail, they can everything you are not listening that the Antichrist will gonna put, the police will be 100% of the judge, and the judgments will be under the influence of Antichrist. So what I want to tell you, in Proverbs 28, it says, 28:15, like a roaring lion or a charging bear is wicked ruler over a helpless people. It means that here Solomon comparing that government that is not clean is like a roar lion and a bear that will not think about you even before he's killing you. And we need to turn on our mind, our intuition, spiritual, to understand who is behind all of this. Not just to see the situation that what happened right now, but to see why it happened. Who is standing behind? Who used Hamas to do all this? And why those people who needed to cover us didn't do this? And today we look, we say, yes, we're supporting our army, our soldier. But you know what? We're talking about that many people, many nations, Hamas as terrorist organization, using people as a shield, human shield, hiding behind the humans and everything. But when I see on today reality, yes. But how many soldiers died already? How many died inside Gaza? If our government were following God, it was never happened something like happened on the 7th of October. But the same that we understood to who our government is serving, we need to understand that will not be saved by someone. This is why I'm saying to you that to pray for our soldiers, that if something can happen, they can even throw our soldiers and live there. And it's reality. We need to pray for them. And everything that's happening today, now, we can not see it until the end. I also not see everything. I just see what little thing that God opened to me. But we need to see on the reality that the only shield that we have, the only cover, and to trust just God. And we don't have no one else to trust. And it's not just church. We need to bring it to people, to bring back the people to God, to trust just on Him. Because all this mess, it's the result of sin and the mess that's happening in Israel. Why Israel was going to the Jeremiah, Isaiah, everyone said, come back to God, come back and your sin will become a snow and clean, and no one came back. The nation of Israel, 70 years were in Babylon, slaves, suffered, died. And today, we need to understand that we don't know the next thing that's coming in time, but I know that until 2030, the next 7 years, we will need to hear a lot of things and to open a lot of truth things. If the Big Brother will not close us, if the Big Brother will not put us on jail on this, if the Big Brother will not start to sell us to hostages, to slaves. So this is why today we need to pray. I want us today to pray a little bit longer pray than usual, for that our nation will not live in illusion, that the only one who's gonna cover our soldiers is God, because there is no one any more trust, not to our politics, not to our government. There is trust just one. We cannot go anywhere anymore, God. God, Father, we cannot trust anyone else. We know what happened on the 7th of October. We know because you're opening this to us. And we are bringing forgiveness for our big brothers that were ready to sell us, to sell them own brothers, that were ready to give to Israel all this, to take the cloth of Israel, the colorful cloth with blood to God. Forgive them, because they went under the wrong control, under the control of the Antichrist. And if someone still can change his mind there in the government, save them. Save them to be adult enough to understand, because we know that you, God, are God of mercy, and you will give to the Knesset people who did it there. You will give them the second chance to come back, to bow down to you, and without not to cut away them clothes, but to cut the blood, the heart of them, and keep us. We don't have no one, our nation, that can cover our army, our soldiers, because those kids that came to serve the country, to fight against the enemy, and there is no other cover than just you, because the soldiers are just doing what they said to them, and if they're gonna tell them go to die, they will do it. So we're asking to cover them. Let your angels to cover each of them, that all the borders of Israel right now will be occupied by your angels, that each soldier, doesn't matter north or south or in Gaza, that each of them will have unbelievable shield, go with them as a cloud and be with them all day, every moment, every centimeter, and that they will trust only you. We are asking that our nation will wake up and forgive the mistakes that Israel doing, that they went so far from you, that they bring a fake forgiveness on Yom Kippur, and the lesson came to your nation. We are asking forgiveness that our holidays, you don't like them anymore because they are so religious, that we are praying with our lips but our heart is so far. Your mercy on Israel. We are asking that each is ready and will understand that he cannot trust none the judge, none the politics, none the government, just on you. And we're asking that on those days, easy or hard, it will be just all Israel will come to you, that they will hear you will hear praise all day, that never they will start to pray, but this will be the worship of all Israel to you, that the praise will not stop, that the voice of Israel will hear every day. We are asking, mercy us, mercy Israel.